Hello there. You might have seen a news story recently about how Julian Batchelor is being investigated by the Electoral Commission for a pamphlet that he's been distributing before he has his roadshows of Facebook comment sections come to life. And it's quite fascinating to look into exactly what's going on here, because unlike what these terrible commenters think, because they obviously haven't read the story and lack critical thinking skills, it is not about shutting down free speech, and it's not about opposing his views. It's not even about the fact that he has some genuinely awful people with links to fascism, white supremacy, and neo-Nazis that are working with him on his events. It's not that at all. It's actually about a promoter statement, which is a really simple little thing that goes at the bottom of all electioneering information, usually. Most information. There are actually some loopholes, including one that this handsome devil is able to manipulate a little bit, but I'll get into that shortly. You see, the way that our electoral laws work around advertising are really specific, and if you are advertising a party on behalf of a party or on behalf of a politician, you've got to have a promoter statement, no matter when it is. Doesn't matter if it's in the election cycle period or outside, it's got to have that promoter statement, and that's just an authorized by and an address. But if you're a third-party organization that is creating print material, radio material, or TV material, then you have to have that as well. If you're doing online videos where you're telling people not to vote for parties like Loyal NZ or Freedoms NZ or Democracy NZ or the Leighton Baker Party, that's actually not regulated. Don't vote for them. But those print versions are. And if you're spending a certain amount of money, you have to register with the Electoral Commission before you go in and start promoting it. And there's a huge list available on the Electoral Commission website, these ones here, of organisations that aren't affiliated with political parties directly, but will be putting out promotional material telling you which way you should vote. Keep an eye out for content from them. You may or may not want to read it or burn it. Entirely up to you. What Julian Batchelor has done, though, in his pamphlet is told people really specifically not to vote for certain political parties, which means that he is promoting a political party over and above another, or telling people how not to vote. That's all covered in the rules on the Electoral Commission website. I get that Julian Batchelor probably hasn't looked at that site or thought he needs to deal with it. After all, this is a man who believes that God literally sat down and spoke to him. Common sense and logic are obviously not his best friends. But when it comes to our laws, they're really specific. Now, he's not been investigated for all of the other terrible things that he's doing or being an awful shit person. What he has been investigated for is a tiny little breach in electoral law that he should have done some research on. But again, research is not his strong point. So if anybody turns around and says to you, oh, it's about freedom of speech and they're trying to shut him up, not at all. They just want to make sure he's following the same laws that everybody else is following. Again, Julian Batchelor, that doesn't seem like something that he feels really applies to him. But